Now let's get into them discussing the second kill shot ruling to the Democrats. Watch.
Doge's second big legal victory on this issue just today. Earlier today, another Obama-appointed judge here in Washington, Judge Randy Moss, ruled that Doge would not be blocked from accessing data at the Department of Education. And that came after a group of students that receive financial assistance sued to try to protect their data. But again, the judge ruled that they had not shown how they would be harmed. And at least 4 times in recent days, emergency lawsuits and legal actions against Doge have failed, mostly on this idea that judges say, look, you haven't shown that you have been harmed, but these judges have left the door open that if in the future plaintiffs or challengers can show that their data was compromised or improperly used, they may be able to return to court.
The Democrats are being shut down in court because these judges aren't willing to listen to their same fear-mongering that was their entire strategy the last 4 years. Oh, Trump's going to be a threat to democracy. Oh, Trump's going to end the Constitution. Trump's going to weaponize the military on the public. They always had to talk about hypothetical or pretend scenarios because when you talked about reality, what's actually happening, every time the Democrats are the culprit of those claims. And while that strategy lost them the election, they certainly have the right to continue to ruin their credibility and go on TV and lie to people. But that same strategy isn't going to work in the courtrooms. You can't ask a judge to make a legally binding ruling, especially one that has such a consequential and extreme effect as what they're asking, which is to shut down the federal government solely based on your wild imagination. And this is clear as Bernie Sanders goes on CNN and the reporter asks him about these judge rulings and he proves the judge right. All they're doing is speculating.
But today, a federal judge here, Tanya Chutkan, she's well known to our audience from the Trump trials, she declined to block Musk and his team from getting access because she basically said she wasn't getting specific enough examples from these AGs about how Musk could cause irreparable harm to their state. And if they can't prove that in court, what does that say?
Well, I tell you what I happen to believe. At the end of the day, the struggle against Trump, the struggle against oligarchy, which is led by Elon Musk, the struggle against authoritarianism, the fight to make sure that the working class of this country gets a fair shake, that is not going to be won here in Capitol Hill. It's going to be won by millions of people all over this country standing up and saying, you know what, we fought and died for democracy. We're not going to move toward authoritarianism. We fought to create a country that works for all, not just the billionaire class. That's the struggle, and I'm going to be active in trying to rally the American people to do just that.
The very beginning of his answer exposed it all. Well, this is what I believe, not this is what you know. Your pretentious Democrat crystal ball that tells you the future isn't sufficient evidence. And you see how he doesn't answer the question because the only answer to that question is the Democrats have weak, insufficient arguments. Instead, he quickly pivots to his comfort zone of unrelated and frankly tiring socialist talking points. Income inequality. Democrats embody what everybody despises about politicians. They always revert to their overly rehearsed political talking points and slogans. There is no fight to be had for the Democrats in the courts because they have no evidence. They have no premise to stand on that would indicate anything Elon or Trump is doing is unconstitutional. He admitted the only strategy they have is to try to lie and fearmonger long enough to their base that they'll feel galvanized enough to fight a losing battle. But that same strategy of saying, look how bad the other side is, instead of providing a plan of your own, is what drove away so many moderate Democrats in this election.